Changing our perspective is much easier to do than you may think, but it does involve taking small little steps to make this shift. Hi, I'm Teresa. I'm a wellness and mind-body coach. I love to work with moms of teens to help them go from being angry and frustrated, from arguing all the time, and just being tired of all the drama, and go into finding a peace and calm that you can bring into any conversation, argument, and start building a connection back with your teen. So perspective, what does that have to do with connecting with your teen? Well, perspective and being able to shift your perspective, which is the really important part, is how we broaden the way we look at something so that we can see how other people might view the situation. And that's real important in a conversation. If the conversation is getting heated up, then both people tend to start grabbing on to their idea and trying to convince the other person to change. But when we allow our perspective to broaden, when we shift that perspective so we can start looking at how the other person sees it, we can allow them to speak, to share, to express themselves without them being afraid of ridicule, judgment, criticism, anything like that. So how do we develop it, right? So we shift our perspective all the time, but to do it on purpose just requires a little bit of effort. I came across this article this week, and it reminded me about a lot of the work with habits. And the article was about 10 different ways to easily shift perspective, and all of them are small steps. I have used these, I have seen these. They're very common psychological methods. And my top 3 favorite I'd like to go over now are curiosity, gratitude, and then switching from unfortunately to fortunately. So of these, gratitude is the most simple and the most powerful. The curiosity is what you want to bring into a conversation because it really will help connect in the middle of any type of conversation. And then the fortunately and unfortunately is a really good way to shift how you feel about a difficult situation. So a little bit about curiosity and how that plays into it. When you're curious, you have an open, you're more open with your arms, you're more open with your physical body, and the other person quickly picks that up. You also open up with questions, and it's not like curious and you go through their stuff to be snooping. It's curious about how they think this way and how they came upon it and what they see as a solution. So that's curiosity. And when you get curious about the other person and how they think, they start to feel more relaxed because they can express themselves, and they start to feel that they're important because you are listening to what they have to say. And when you feel seen and heard, you feel more relaxed. So gratitude is something you can do anytime during the day, really good in the morning, because when you look around, and 3 things are a good way to start, and say, what are some things I'm grateful for right in this moment? And again, if you wake up and you pick out 3 things and you really tap into how it feels, you start tapping in and pulling up this positive energy, and that carries you on throughout the day. That's why it's really great to start that way. So gratitude gets you in this really positive way, and it also gets you out of comparing yourself and seeing what other people have, getting resentful or upset or anxious or anything. So when you're in a conversation, or even before you enter the conversation, you can stop and say, what am I grateful about this person? What about them? Some qualities that brings me joy, that I really enjoy being around. When you do that, it's easier for you to see positive qualities throughout. And the last one, I use this all the time. Fortunately and unfortunately, as they go together. It's usually presented as unfortunately, I had a struggle, whether it was for my kids had a struggle through school, which was very unfortunately. Fortunately, my younger one, who was very emotional, very noisy, he was able to get a lot of help very early through the school and outside of the school, and he has, really done well. He has progressed greatly and has decided what he wants to do with his life. But if he didn't have that help, he would have gotten stuck into this frustration cycle. So there are other times that I like to look at where I am right now and look at my blessings and say, fortunately, I have the skill, but it took a very difficult, unfortunate situation to get it. So it's fortunate and unfortunate. It was unfortunate that I had to go through that, but it's very fortunate that I have the skill, the opportunity, and the blessings. So those are just a few of the ones that I use to shift perspective. There's all sorts of different ways, and if you would like more information, just send me a comment below and I will go ahead and send you that link.